It says it's live, so I'm going to trust it. Okay, so today I just want to let you know that Dr. Furman had a conflict for today, so he is going to be on tomorrow. So we are swapping. We are swapping what I was going to do tomorrow, and I'm going to do it today, and then tomorrow he will be on. So he felt horrible about this, but you know what? Everything happens for a reason. And for whatever reason, this is what's happening. So I am very good with it. And I'll tell you a story about what happened this morning when we get started. Okay, so before we get started, I need for you to do your job in growing the classroom. So as you know, that we are being garbled up. We are being garbled up by the algorithms. And so I need for you to share, tag, like, follow, ask your friends to do so, do all that stuff, because that is the only way we're going to spread this information. Other than that, it's just going to sit there. Some people are telling me, I didn't even know you were on. Are you still on? Yes, we are still on, and we will ride the wave until we can no longer ride, till we make it to shore. Anyway, so go ahead and do that. And I am going to start the recording for podcast and BitChute. Because we are in BitChute. You need to like me there as well, because when you have 6,000 followers in one section and a little over 100 in another, you're going to ride the wave until we kind of catch up. Okay, here we go. Let me hit the record button. Okay, like I said earlier, today was supposed to be Dr. Furman's day, but we're doing a little switcheroo. So if you're here to see Dr. Furman, I hope you stick around because we are going to be talking about an image, a vision that I had while I was walking on the beach the other day. And it was a great lesson. And I want to share this lesson about the shackles that hold us bound. So fasten your seatbelt because we're going to learn and grow together. It's time to dance. Here we go.
The Lillian McDermott Show.
We love, we fear, bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough and it seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be right here. Right here, and when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for
you. This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening and viewing friend. I am so grateful that we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful day, this beautiful best day ever. And for those of you who are tuning in to for the first time because you thought Dr. Furman was going to be on, just know he'll be on tomorrow. But please know we've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, as I said before, there have been so many times where I have heard God speak to me. I really have. I know it's God. I have no doubt it's God. And there have been in the past, I didn't recognize it as God. I recognize it as just the voice in my head or, just, a random thought. And I've ignored it. And horrible things have happened as a result of that. But now, when God speaks to me, I listen because I recognize the voice now. It took a lot of trial and error, but I recognize the voice now. And if I don't recognize the voice, I wait because I will hear it again. I will know. What about you? What do you do? What do you do when you are needing to make a decision? Or maybe you feel discontentment and you want to leave the situation that you find yourself in right now, and you don't know how to leave it, or you don't know if you should leave it. You want to run away from something and then you walk into something worse. Those are the times we know that it's time to sit still. It's time to just listen. And so today we're going to talk about an experience that I had at the beach. I was walking at the beach, and as you know, I'm known as the bag lady, the trash bag lady. I'm always when I walk the beach, I walk one direction for myself, and then when I walk back, I walk for nature. So that means that I have a little grocery bag, and whenever I see trash that washes up on shore, that's my job. Everybody has a place in the choir. That's my job, is to the shoreline. There's other people that clean other parts of the beach. So I'm not doing anything other people are doing. This is nothing special. This is just something that I do, that I want to give back to the earth. And especially when I see the little birds eating the little plastics, the foam, whatever. So I feel that it's been planted in my heart that is something I need to do, and I get to do. And I don't care who put it there. I need to be a part of the solution. And that tiny, tiny little speck of whatever, for some reason, I see it. I used to walk right by it, but now I see it and I can't walk by it anymore. So on the way there was no trash. On the way, I decided that if I see anything, I'll know, mental note, when I come back, I need to pick it up. But there are times where I just stop and I pick it up because I know it's going to be swept away by the time I come back. Because the walk is about 1 mile to 1.5 miles. And then I turn around and I walk another mile. And then I just, sit, journal, whatever I feel that I need to do at the moment. That's what I do. So the question is today, what do you do to kind of like be one and make deposits into that spirit of yours? So as I was walking on the beach, this was last week, as a matter of fact, as I was walking, I just felt so free. It had been a while since I had been able to make the time, or that I made the time. It's been so cold in Florida. And when I mean cold, I mean cold. I usually can make it out to the beach, in 60-degree weather, or even colder than that. But for some reason, my body is not able to adjust to that temperature at this time in my life. And so I've been honoring it. I've been honoring that time in my life where I'm not going to push things on me. So I noticed that on the way to, as I was walking, that I didn't see anything, because usually I notice things, shiny things that are blue, pink, red. Those are not natural colors in nature. So when I was returning back, I thought, that's so nice. I don't have to pick up anything today. But I heard the word, listen, watch, pay attention. So I started paying attention. There was this little bird. And when I say little bird, I'm talking about a seagull, that kind of a bird. And it was like swooping around. It was like flying over my head, and it would fly over the fisherman that was in front of me. So there was probably maybe 20 feet, 30 feet. And that bird kept circulating and circulating and circulating. But I noticed it, but I hadn't seen it. It was on my field of neglect. I saw it, but I didn't see it. I don't know if you can relate to that. And I want you guys to, while you're watching, if you have any questions, feel free to put a Q, write your question down. If you have a comment, make sure you do that too. So I'm walking around, I'm seeing this bird, and all of a sudden I thought, that bird is just going around in circles. And I know I can go around in circle. I know that nature is about to teach me something. Pay attention. So the bird was just going around in circles. And I'm like, what the heck? Caught my attention, caught my attention. So it just kept going. As soon as I saw the bird, it went around a couple more times and then it just flew away. And it was flying, and it was like flying, and I noticed, wow, that bird just flew around my head several times and just flew away with no care in the world. And as you know, there are a lot of burdens right now that we're carrying with the way, whether you're for or against the government or feel that it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter to me. I don't need to change anybody's opinion, whether you've been alienated from your children or family members, or people have died in your life and you've not been able to honor them because of what's the current situation and what we find ourselves in. And all of a sudden, I just thought, that bird has no care in the world, none whatsoever. And so then I heard the word. After I said that, I heard the words, that's what it's like when you're not in captivity. That freedom. That bird didn't have a schedule, an agenda, didn't have to go, oh, I'm going to poop on that person's head. I'm going to poop on that person's head. Didn't even have that as a schedule in the agenda. It was just free to do whatever it pleased. And all of a sudden, I became jealous of that. But I heard the words again, captivity. Captivity. That is what animals look like when they're not in captivity. And as I kept walking, that just resonated with me. What is it like for me to not be in captivity? What would it be like? What would my schedule look like today if all I had to do was fly around, fly around, fly around, fly around, and not have a care in the world? But I can choose that. I can choose that. Then I had this big smile on my face, and I just kept saying, what would it feel like for me? Am I in shackles? What are the shackles in my life? What are the shackles in your life? What is keeping you from just flying around, flying around? Yes, we have to feed our kids. Yes, we have to pay our mortgage. Yes, we have all this shackle, shackle, shackle. We have so many things that we're so afraid of losing or giving up. Because what would people say? That was not the life I planned. What would it look like if you were actually free? So I kept going on my walk, just kept walking, just enjoying my walk. And I was just, but again, what are the things that are holding me captive? Because I believe that we're all teachers and we're all students. And I knew that little bird was teaching me a huge lesson. So as I walked by fisherman after fisher person after fisher person after fisher child, there were so many people fishing on the shoreline. I see a pelican very close to where I'm sitting, where I'm supposed to sit, because I was going to journal afterwards. And that pelican was just sitting there. Arms, the wings were like up and did not move. And did not move. And so one of the guys that was fishing said to me, I just gave him the second fish. He is as happy as a clam. And he was just sitting there doing nothing, just waiting, just waiting, just waiting to be fed, waiting and waiting, looking around, waiting some more. And I noticed on the foot was a shackle. It was a band. Now, I don't know why that band was there, but the thought came to, this is what happens when man interferes with nature. This is what happens when man interferes with nature. We just wait. We want to be fed. We want to be taken care of. We want to look good. We want all those things. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at this pelican. I'm like getting closer and closer and closer to this pelican, and this pelican is not moving. The pelican has lost no, I'm sure that if I would have gotten a little bit more closer, maybe I would have gotten the effect of the pelican going, stay away from me, because that's all I have to do is wait on you to feed me today. Feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me. And so I just kept waiting and waiting and waiting, seeing what he's going to do. The whole entire time, that pelican sat there, did not move, arms up. I'm assuming it was drying out. That's what I'm assuming. It was drying out. But it also knew that it had a payoff, that if it stayed there, it would get more fish. Now, you see pelicans in nature. I don't know if you live near the water, but I love to observe. I love to observe nature. And I have observed pelicans teaching their young how to fly, how to go for fish. And it's so cute. It is so curious and beautiful that, the way they do it. And they have a rhythm. I've walked on that beach when there's like aviary airport, and they're teaching their young how to fly and how to take off and how to come back and land again. And you can hear the squeals of joy. I've been there and I've seen nature at its finest. But I've also seen when we've gone and thrown bread to the seagulls or fed the nature. And they fight with one another. They don't get along. I see them like sharing with one another, but when man intervenes and we try to circumvent nature, all of a sudden there's bickering among the birds. But when they're in nature, left not in captivity, they're just doing their thing. They're not questioning, that's my piece of bread, that's my fish. They're not, I don't think they are. At least I don't hear it. I've seen them bicker, but every time I do, it's because someone's intervened. So all of a sudden I realize the difference between total reliance on God, because that was when that bird was flying, didn't have a care, that was total reliance, total trust that God would take care of that animal. They didn't have a care. It didn't have a care. But what happens when we try to intervene? All of a sudden, things change. When you go to the zoo, you see animals in captivity. When you go to visit people, they have animals and cats and whatever in captivity. That's not natural. It's not natural. And listen, I don't want to get hate mail about people who love dogs and cats and have great, I loved my Max. I understand, I get it. But is that what's natural to nature? Is it? I don't know. I'm not judging it. I'm just saying that when animals are in captivity, they are not the same. So when animals are not in captivity, they have total reliance on God. And through the New Truth series, Book of Revelation, New Truth series, 50 Lessons from the Exodus, we are learning that there's a theme here, which is total reliance on God, knowing that we will be taken care of when we're not in captivity. But what does captivity look like? It is up to you. It is up to you. But just know that when we are in total reliance and we know God's promises, then we know that we'll be taken care of. Like Romans 8 says, God works things out for the good of all. Not just for you, not just for me. There are no favorites. Everybody gets what they get. Everybody will get their reward. That's the beauty of it all. So, as I'm sitting there and I'm writing, now I'm journaling about this. And where am I? That's the question. Where am I captive? Where do I need to remove my shackles? And the story of the elephant, when I saw that pelican with that band around its foot, And again, I'm not trying to judge whether or not that bird was, taken care of by somebody on the beach, or maybe it was sick or was hit, or I have no idea the story. All I know is it had a shackle, and it reminded me of the story of the elephant that's in captivity. When an elephant has a baby elephant, I don't know what the baby elephant is called, if it's called a pup or whatever. Some of the animals in nature have a different, but a baby elephant, when they have a baby elephant, they shackle the baby to a stake, and it could only go as far as that shackle, that length of the chain will go. But it has a shackle and has a chain, and it can go around the pole the exact length of the chain. Eventually, the elephant will remain in that circle without, they can remove the chain and just leave the shackle, and it will not go beyond what it remembered it could go. So that's the question for you and for me. What has kept us from going beyond where we think we're being held back? What is my captivity? What is your captivity? And again, this is food for thought. You may have a great life. You may have the most phenomenal life, and that's great. And your schedule may be great, but if you're not happy, and I mean, I'm not saying that you must be happy, but if there's discontentment, there's dis-ease, if something is just not right for you, because being out of captivity is finding the joy even in our tough circumstances. So God doesn't say you must be happy, or you will be happy, or you can only be happy if you're in my shadow or in my circle. No, it's finding that joy regardless of it, regardless of what's happening. So that captivity, I started thinking about that captivity. And as a matter of fact, interesting that this morning I was awakened at 3:00 in the morning and I couldn't go back to sleep. And as I was preparing, I thought, as I did my meditation, and I thought, I'm going to go to the gym today. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to work with my bands. I'm going to do, I'm going to get that 10 minutes of like pain, and then I'm going to come back. And so that was kind of like the plan, but I still had a little bit of time. So I sat down at my desk and I thought, the last time Dr. Furman was supposed to be on, we kind of didn't even think that the inauguration was supposed to be on. And so we skipped it. It was the first time since 2015 we've skipped a day together. And so this morning when I was sitting at my desk, I thought, for some reason, I felt I better work on my class for tomorrow. And I sat there and I worked on my class that ended up being today. When I got a frantic call saying there was Dr. Furman feels really bad. There was a double booking. We didn't realize that this was on until just now. And don't worry about it. We'll swap. And they were so grateful. I was grateful. Forget about them. I was grateful. We worked it out. It all worked out. And I didn't have to scramble in here and go, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Because God gave me that time. See? I didn't have a care in the world, but I had the thought. I had the thought. And when you have that thought, there needs to be some form of obedience. And I thought, I've got the time. I might as well work on it. Why not? Not even thinking that all this would happen later on today, this morning. But you know what? I don't question it anymore. I don't even get frustrated. I'm just grateful that we get to have him tomorrow to talk about the dangers of veganism, like what could cause somebody to thrive. So just because you're vegan doesn't mean, that everything is good. There are things that you need to really pay attention, because it will cause you not to thrive. So that's what our conversation is going to be like tomorrow. And of course, tell everybody, and then he'll answer questions as we go along, as we normally do. So with that, I started thinking about, the fact that God took care of this. I didn't have to worry about it. And even when I found out about it, and I wasn't even completely done, I knew God would give me the words. I just know that's going to happen. Therefore, it happens. If you know everything's going to go horrible, it will, because that is what we're focusing on. But I know that things work out for the good of all. I also know that I cannot be snatched. I cannot be taken from the hands of God. I cannot. It says it in John. I cannot be taken. But I as I meditated on that a long time ago, I wrote a talk about this. I gave a talk on this many, many years ago, before there was a show, before there was a classroom, before there was personal growth, before any of that. I used to lead a Bible study, and I remember reading that, and it just hit me. If we cannot be snatched from the hands of God, why is there so much evil? Why is there so much depression? Why is there so much devastation in the world? Death, disease, if you cannot be snatched from the hands of God. So as I meditated on that, I thought, wow, we can certainly walk away. Lack of obedience. We can walk away from that do this, do that, like the 10 commandments that Dr. Day has talked about in the classroom, and in the book of Exodus, and in the 50 lessons from the Exodus and the Revelation. And so those 10 commandments, as she says, are the nature of God. So with that, these are how we must behave. So when things are like not working out in our life and we have walked away, yes, we cannot be snatched, but we can walk away. Then we enter into captivity. What is holding me captive? What is holding you captive? And so I started thinking that captivity comes in the form of sin. Because when we walk away from God, we put ourselves in a place that we normally wouldn't want to be in. You know those times, whether it's, overeating or over drinking or over sexing or pornography or whatever, drugs, neglect, being disgusted by your value or worth. That's how the further we are from God, the closer we are to sin. And so I started thinking about, that's what I was woken up this morning at 3:00 in the morning, the sin. What is sin? So the S, because I love acronyms. I love acronyms. And please, as I'm talking, I'd love to hear from you. I want to hear if you can relate to this. Oh, and I just realized that you guys are there. Let me see. Yes. Okay. So as I'm thinking about sin, I think of getting away from God. As I think of getting closer to God, I think of myself in obedience. So keep that in mind as I share this with you, the word sin, the acronym sin. So S is for spirit. When I was walking on the beach, as I was telling you earlier, as I was walking on the beach, I felt the sense of, this is where I belong. This is where I need to be right now. Right now, this is where I need to be. I don't need to be thinking about anything else, but to be depositing into my spirit, walking in nature, feeling that air, getting that sunlight. And now I could have been walking on the beach going, man, I could be, working on my book. I could be working on the class. I can be, cleaning out my closet, which by the way, I'll be doing after the classroom, because to me, when my closet gets a little out of control, I know I'm out of balance. And so if you have a drawer or if you have a car that when you are out of balance, it gets messy, just clean it out. That's the start of balancing your life. That's just a tip that works for me. I don't know where I got this, but it just works for me. I know when I am out of balance, and when I'm talking out of balance, that relationship between sin and obedience. This is God. This is me when I'm disobedient and I'm not in the character of God. And this is me when we're closer to God. You just know. And so the S is for spirit. Where is your spirit right now? Where is your soul? What is it that you want? Do you want to be freed like that bird that was just no care in the world? How do you achieve that? How do you achieve that? Oh my goodness, we're just praying, aren't we? Away and come together. So what kind of deposits do you make for your spirit? What makes your spirit sing? What makes it soar? Is it a sunrise? Is it a sunset? Is it singing and dancing? What is it for you that allows you to make deposits? That keeps us closer to that God, to wanting to be closer. Because let me tell you, there are many times that we do things and we know it's not adding value to our life. It's just not adding value. So where is it? Where is it? So S is for spirit, making deposits into our spirit. The I is for integrity. When we're out of integrity, we are away from that, I don't know, we're away from that obedience. We know the 10 Commandments. And if the 10 Commandments are our guide, where are we there? You know, if there was an Olympic for love, or an Olympic for loving thy neighbor, if there was an Olympic for, honoring God, if there was an Olympic for, if you just go through the 10 Commandments. Do not covet, do not commit adultery, do not steal, honor your God, honor your family, your mom and dad. Do not hold any images. Do not make idols. Where are those? Where are those? Where are we out of alignment with integrity? So the more out of integrity we are, the more closer to sin we are, the more in obedience we are, the closer to God we are. So where is it that you're out of integrity? Because we know, our body knows. Is it that we have got to release some of our past trauma? Give that to God. Release being angry with people, because that's compared to murder. So there's so many things that we've got to change our mindset. We get to change our mindset because we have turned God into human. God is not human. God is all. And we cannot think of God the way we think of man. God is above all. There is no emotion other than love. We hear about, the God of the wrath of God. We hear about all that, but all that is consequence from sin. All that is consequence from sin. And if you don't like the consequence, then get closer. Get closer to obedience. How does that look like? What does the life look like? So the first one is sin. For S, the acronym SIN is spirit. Replenish that spirit. The I is integrity. You know when you are out of alignment with integrity. You know it, but you may not want to look at it, but you know it. And if you give yourself permission to truly go there, which is what we do, is part of what we do in the I am the solution the New Truth series, I Am the Solution weekend workshop, which I encourage all of you. The next one is April 16th. So I hope that you will consider joining us. It's a wonderful weekend from Friday at 6 p.m. to Sunday at 6 p.m. Of course, we have breaks and we say goodbye to one another so that you can have your own weekend. But it is a wonderful weekend of replenishment of that spirit, to be able to see things that have happened to you in the past, not as a curse, but as a blessing. And when you feel blessed, you feel grateful. But when you feel cursed, you feel ungrateful. Again, that takes us out from that closeness of God because we are closer to sin. Because remember, all things work out for the good of all things. God works things out for the good of all. Knowing that promise alone should make you be able to step back and say, let's look back. And that's why I have the 5 questions of responsibility. And let me tell you, I didn't realize how difficult taking ownership is when it doesn't have shame, blame, fault, or duty, and looking at it as a blessing. And so when we did our last workshop, I realized that that is a huge thing. I'm talking at it because I get it. I understand it. I've done it. I've gone through my life and I've taken ownership for everything in my life. But it's difficult. And so I'm going to do maybe our small group that I coach, we're going to go through that again, because it is difficult. Even going through the workshop, it opened my eyes that not everybody is ready to let things go and take ownership for them. And let me tell you, we're going to be talking about this next week. We talked about this with Dr. Bradley Nelson last week about the emotion code and where do the emotions go. And he worked on me, doing you need to check out that class. It's amazing. And so next week, Dr. Michelle Lamassa Dawson is going to be in the classroom, and we're going to go deeper into these emotions that are trapped. He didn't find any emotions trapped from me. He found them from generation to generation. I had like 1,500 years of generations or years between generations, 28 generations or something like that I am like holding it captive. And I'm not just release that, I'm releasing everything. I don't need that in my body. I'm giving it up. It's not mine to hold. It is not mine to hold. So I want you to check that out next week. If you're a subscriber, you'll know when Dr. Michelle Lamassa Dawson is going to be on, because we're going to go deeper into that. Because I have a philosophy that if I can have somebody do this from afar and connect with me and release these generational traumas that are stuck within us that eventually turn into dis-ease, if he could do that for me, I can do it for myself, and I can do all of it. And I said to my husband that night, I'm releasing everything. I am claiming anything that is in my body, and I am releasing it because I don't want it. I don't need it anymore. And let me tell you, I have felt, that I guess that was the beginning of the shackles being removed for me, because I didn't even know I had them. We don't know what we don't know. And that's where we spend most of our life in. It's what we don't know. Because how do you know you don't know it if you don't know it? Right? You don't. So if you think you know everything, I have a meme out there that says, put a chalk line around you, baby, because you are dead. If you think you know everything and there's nothing else to learn, put a chalk line around you because you are dead. So then the last one is N, for need. We all have needs. We all have needs. What is the need that we have? How many of you are afraid to ask? Just afraid to ask anyone anything because you fear the answer is going to be no. You fear that's not going to work out. You fear that it might go bad. You fear. But we don't even ask. We don't even give the other person an opportunity to say yes or no. Because if you don't ask, the answer is definitely no. But if you at least risk and say, I really need this from you today. I really need for you to help me out today because I can't do what I normally do and do what you want me to do. You've got to be free to ask, because what happens with all these unresolved desires? They get trapped. They get trapped. So say what you mean and ask for what you need from our Creator or from the people around you. And, I'll ask, how can I support you? I'll ask that question. How can I support you? It's not that I don't want to think about it. It's just that, because I can say to you, I'm going to go there and I'm going to fix your bed, or I'm going to make a meal, or I'm going to, take you out. Maybe that's not what you need. Maybe that's what I think you should do, but that may not be what you need. So the question is, how can I support you today? Imagine you going to your children, your husband, your wife, your friends, that are in need. How can I support you today? How would they respond? Instead of, you're not going to do this, you're not going to do that, you're not going to do this, and you get into this frazzle because now you're just like out of integrity. You made a commitment, you can't keep it, you're out of integrity, you freak out. That's what happens. Your body goes, hey, you're out of integrity, freak out. I'm worried about the future, anxiety. I'm worried about the past or upset about the past, depression. Identify what's holding you captive, what's holding me captive. I know that in Romans 8 as well, it says that God recognizes the groaning of the Spirit. I'm paraphrasing here, but that is my loose interpretation of it. In other words, that even when I can't speak, I know that God hears my groaning. Even if I'm not complaining. I just don't know. I'm numb, or I just don't know how to feel. I just need to be silent. Just go back, retreat, find out what is it that you need. And that's the N in need, in sin. Feed your spirit. When was the last time you made a deposit? Are you out of integrity? Maybe, maybe not. N, what do I need right now? Maybe I just need to be quiet and pray and ask God to guide me, because I just don't know what to do. What is it? So when we are in sin, and that acronym of sin, do a little quick check. Check your pulse. Hey, we check our temperatures like 24/7 when you're out there. Check your own temperature. Your temperature of your closeness to God. What does that look like today? And I promise you, I'll read your comments when we're done here, but I just want to speak to you from my heart, because I'm not scripted. I am speaking to you from my heart. Yes, I prepare. And yes, I do like bullet, but I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth, because I allow God. Can you believe the arrogance of that word? I allow God to work through me. That's how we think. That is obedience. When we allow something to happen without that care, that bird, and I remember another bird flew by me, and it was trying to like flap its wings, and it was kind of mechanical. And all of a sudden it was like, wow, that's how I behave when I am in disobedience. And all of a sudden I go, okay, God, just whatever. I'm not going to complain about it. Doesn't do me any good. But what am I supposed to take from this? What do I get out of this? How do I make it all good for everybody too? You see, one of the things that kind of liberated me when I went through the book of Revelations, the New Truth series, which, by the way, you can now get online. You still get, we recorded everything. So you can still watch that. You get the notes, you get the questions, you get all of that. And you can purchase it. because I do a lot of free work, but this is outside of the norm. And so there is a cost for all that we're storing, all that we're doing. There's the preparation, there's a cost for that. There is manpower cost. And so that's why there is a cost to it. So people have asked me, why should I pay for it? Well, we offer scholarships. So if money is a hardship, then we offer scholarships. But if you can afford to pay and help grow what we're doing and be a part of the mission, great, please do it. And we also now have the DVDs. There are no scholarships for DVDs because we do have the online version. But many people are getting the DVDs because they're concerned that online won't be, it's available online as long as they don't censor it. So we have the DVDs. We still haven't made our final order because we found some inconsistencies that need to be fixed. And bless Robert's heart, he is working hard on that. He is working so that it is as close to his integrity as possible. And so, but the quality of the DVD is not the same as a Blu-ray. So that, that's going to be a little different. That's going to be hard for us at first, but really we're just trying to get the words. We're trying to get the information. So the fact that we can see Dr. Day speaking to us is just one benefit. So then we have the Exodus, the New Truth series, 50 lessons from the Exodus. I think we're at like 35 and we were on lesson number 5. We're on lesson 4, I believe. We're going to be going on lesson 5. Maybe we're on lesson 5. Time is going fast. I think next time is lesson 6. Don't quote me though. But it is amazing how the Israelites, which I never knew why Dr. Day wanted to do the 50 lessons from the Exodus, and now I get it. Is because this 3-week journey for the Israelites as they fled captivity from Egypt was going to be a 3-week journey, less than a month. It turned into 40 years because they needed to learn their lessons. A whole generation passed because they were not allowed, because of their evil ways, to enter the land. And so we're being prepared right now as we're seeing censorship, as we're seeing all the changes, cancel culture, as we're seeing all these changes, we've got to be about what is it that God wants for us? That obedience to God, total reliance on God, like that bird. I want to be like that bird. Don't you want to be like that bird that just fly, not a care in the world? And one of the things I learned, that's the point I was trying to make before I went into, you can still join us, is that we have got to be about what God, that total reliance on God. And the greatest lesson I learned in the book of Revelation is that it's not my job to save you. It isn't. That is a burden that I have released. If you want it, and that's what you want, and you want to be in that sin as opposed to obedience, you get what you get. You do what you do. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't. Because I know about universal restoration. I know that we will all be restored once we reap what we sow, because I got to say that, because Dr. Day always says that, once we reap what we sow, universal restoration. That means I will get every single person I love back whole. Includes my mom with dementia, includes my dad who's frailing, includes my children, includes my husband, includes everybody, my friends that may or may not believe what I speak of. That's okay. That set me free. I don't have to be in control. I don't have to accept what God has asked me to do and see it through salvation. Don't do that anymore. To the point where I had the kids this weekend, And I always like to make something that's whole food, plant-based. I try to make it all organic. I try to do so that at least they're getting the privilege or the goodness of the benefits that I have learned through the years. But they wanted cream chicken, and I made cream chicken, because if that's what they wanted, that's what they're going to get. I am not going to control it anymore. I don't need to. God will take care of all of that. That's not the care. That is the not a care in the world mentality. All I can do is do what God has called me to do, which is why I'm here today and why I'm speaking to you like this. I didn't do this before the current diseases and the current situation with health crisis that's in the world right now. Prior to that, I wouldn't be talking like this to you. Yes, I talk about finding what we have in common, breaking the walls down in religion. I'm not even talking about religion anymore. I'm talking about our direct contact with God, our direct relationship. We have been compared to sheep. We have been compared to sheep. And what are sheep? The dumbest animal. The dumbest animal. If one sheep goes over the cliff, the whole flock goes over the cliff. It doesn't matter. There could be a pile of sheep on the side of the mountain. They're going to go over because they follow. And we are sheeple, and we are following. And Dr. Day said this beautifully, and I heard it loud and clear. Who's the shepherd that you're following? Who's the shepherd that you're following? Obedience, sin. We know it. We know it. And before we go, I've got to tell you, because I'm going to read all your comments out loud after for the Teacher's Pets Corner, but I need to ask you to please go to whenyounneedafriend.com. Check out my sponsors. Please subscribe. I've got the bands, the B3 bands. Check them out. You get a $40 gift. There's no, there is no, like if you try them out for 30 days and you don't like them, you can return them. There's money back guarantee. And they have like a 6 month where you pay through PayPal. We have Keep Me Safe Organics. And these are the things I'm about. I'm about holistic, alternative. Anyway, you can take a pill, you can take responsibility. I'm not against the pill. I am for doing everything we possibly can to live that life of acceptance, that life of obedience. What obedience and acceptance looked like a year ago or 2 years ago is different today for me. Every day we learn something new to grow closer or go further away. It is up to you. It is up to you. But please check out my sponsors like the pharmacy, First Alternative Care Telemedicine, Gaia Wellness Group. And you can just click on my website and you can go right there to them. Go to my sponsors page or my Shop Now bag. We have Right Way Health and Wellness, and Dr. Grammath is going to be on next week. We also have First Alternative Therapies, which is Avasia. These are therapies that have helped heal, manage pain naturally with frequency. We have, like I said, Right Way Health and Wellness, and then B3 Sciences, which is the bands. Check them out, support them the way that they're supporting the classroom, and go to the affiliate programs like Grounding, Brain Tap, Avasia. Those are all different ways that you get free shipping with Avasia. There's so many different ways that you can heal your body naturally. And that's what God wants us to do. God wants us to be in alignment, in integrity, spiritually bound to God, and be aware of what we need. But if we take sin without God, depression, anxiety, oh my gosh, worry. But if we take the acronym and we start feeding ourselves, doing whatever it takes to grow, then that's the sweet spot. Because as things change in our life, and as the economy changes, and as the government changes, and as more and more restrictions get placed upon us so that we are shackled and bound, just like the Egyptians did with the Israelites. They were slaves and they grew to rather be a slave than be free. And their trusting in God was something that took 40 years. Where are you with that right now? Where are you? I know that I am working on it every day. Every day, I learn something different and new about God, and it just amazes me. It just blows me away. That little walk on the beach changed the way I looked at what captivity looks like. What does it look like in you? I know what it looks like in me. And I know that I constantly need to change and improve and grow closer to that obedience. Because when I haven't been obedience, I can tell you when I haven't been in obedience, the things that have happened to me, for me. They were to me, that in my mentality, but they were for me so that I could be here talking to you this way. Because I am seeing the parallel between the Israelites and humankind today. So I want to invite you to join us. It's not too late. Even if we were done with the program, we are recording everything and you're able to watch it online. But you need to help by becoming an enrolled student in the classroom, whatever it is that you can do to help us grow. Please do. This is a ministry at this point. And I am relying on the generosity of the people and the people. And I even made a decision. I was going to have sponsors, but only the sponsors I knew that I was using, that I was working with, not people that are reaching out to me that I have no idea, like Nori Nutraceuticals. Don't even go there. But lesson learned. Nori was a lesson learned for me. So never again. Acceptance, obedience, sin. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be? And I hope that you will continue to choose to be closer. And I hope that I'm going to check out what your comments are. And I hope that you will come back tomorrow with Dr. Furman, because we're going to talk about thriving in a vegan diet. Okay, please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.
Isn't it amazing that we have to have disclaimers like that? It's like, before you do anything, it's like, consult with God. Before you do anything, I need to change that. Consult with God, because God is always right? Okay. So, yeah, Shroom Factory, Dr. Furman will be here tomorrow. Apparently there was a problem with the schedule and they felt really bad, but I was supposed to do this class today, tomorrow. And, as if you watch, you'll know that I was awakened at 3:00 in the morning to kind of like put my thoughts into, just put it down so that what we were going to do tomorrow, we did today. And then tomorrow, Dr. Furman will be here. So tell everybody. Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you for your compliment. I really appreciate it. Mary Bow lives 5 minutes from the water. Nature is an answer. Basic life, they are joyful. Absolutely. I see that every time. Thank you so much for that comment. Faith, God is here. Very good. Very good. Thank you, Robert, for posting that Dr. Furman is scheduled for Thursday at noon. I really appreciate that. And Black Star Lillian, well done for cleaning the beach. I do too. Whatever I see plastic on the beach, I always pick it up. Yep. I can't even walk by. Do you know how long I walked past that? I didn't even see it. It was in my line of neglect. I didn't even see it. Now I see it shining a mile away. I know that it's there. And I'm not doing anything extraordinary. We're all responsible for this earth. Even if I didn't put it there, I see it, I'll pick it up. It's just a different mentality. Oh, it's not my job, man. That's why I created I Am the Solution. Well, co-created I Am the Solution workshop, because we can't rely on anybody else to solve your problems. So the I am is the I am. I don't know if I need to explain that any more than I am. It's all capital, all bold. I am, little the, and then solution is an acronym. And so I take you through the weekend of the brain and how the brain thinks and how to live the 8 keys of lessons that I've learned through the almost 10 years of doing the class. Started off as a show, now it's a classroom. 10 years of lessons, all rolled up into a weekend where you guys, we get to enjoy, explore in a safe place, in a safe place. It is such an incredible time. God is in control, Country Steve. Absolutely. Absolutely. God is in control. And if we think that we are in control, that is delusional. That is the illusion of life. That is the illusion of life. I remember once saying to JP Sears, I don't know if you guys follow JP Sears, when he joined me back when I started, I think it was back in 2015, he came on to the classroom for 15 months. He was on every month. And I tell you what, love JP Sears. He went from 25,000 followers to 2 million. He's got great, and if you watch what he's doing now, he's speaking up against cancel culture. And I love his video of when he's sitting on the chair, all bound up and tied up, because he was supposed to make an apology. He had to do an apology, and he did the apology while he's all wrapped up. It was brilliant. He is a brilliant, the way he thinks is brilliant. Anyway, I said to JP Sears, when I first started following him and I first met him, I said to JP, I said, JP, I just love you. And he said, well, thank you, Lily, but you love the illusion of me. You see, we see in others who we are. And I'm telling you this, I knew what he meant. I am saying this now. We see in others who we are. And so we make idols out of everybody. Like, oh, I have to watch this show. What are the shackles that are holding us back? Is it a show? Is it gossip? Is it, pornography? Is it alcohol? Is it drugs? What are those shackles? And we have got to, and we get to, peel those by being in obedience and trusting in God. And so I don't know what you said exactly for Adam. I'm looking at Facebook right now, but yeah. So whatever it was that you agreed with, I'm glad. But I'm glad that we were able to do this class today, and that Dr. Furman is going to be on tomorrow. Win-win. So we all win. So I hope that I know that you're going to come back tomorrow, because Dr. Furman will be on. I really appreciate your comments and watching today, watching the class and participating. I love you guys on Facebook and YouTube, and of course BitChute is coming along, but we need to move, because people are saying, why aren't you leaving this platform? First of all, I have not been able to find a live platform, and I would love to do it live. But BitChute, we upload to BitChute, but we have over 6,000 followers now. And, but we only have like a little over 100 in BitChute. But if the people were to switch, then I will do that switch with you. You speak with me too. But at 130, no live. So we're riding the wave, and I hope that you will subscribe to my channel, to my website, because we never know. When Dr. Andrew Saul came in and last week, and he said, hey, I'm under probation and I'm being canceled because I refuse to take the vitamin C and how it helps help with the current situation and the with the mandates that are out there. Anyway, I'm not even gonna go there. I just know that if you check out the class, you'll know. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and go for now. We'll see you tomorrow at noon, because Dr. Furman will be in the classroom. But think about how many different ways do we show disobedience? And we are part of the solution. So I do want to tell you that because we are part of the solution, It is time to learn God's word. It is time to do personal growth. It is time to trust the process. It is time to retell the story of doom and gloom and turn it into the blessing that God intended it to be. And that's where I realized the 4 questions of taking responsibility. People are having a difficult time. And so I may do a class on that, or it may just, well, my small group coaching group, we're going to definitely work on that one together. But there are so many different ways that we are disobedient. You were perfectly created by your creator. Your creator is inside of you. And because the creator can do all things, and if you had a speck of that creator in you, what can't you do? You can do all things. Trust the process and look at sin as the acronym, not necessarily as getting away from God, but as turning towards obedience and acceptance. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for being a part of today's class, and we'll see you soon. Bye. Make sure you make your comments and post below.